the internet of value at Ripple, we're thinking much bigger than just cross-border payments. It's kind of like Amazon with rare books in the early days, just this market happens to be a $10 trillion market.
We are at a historic turning point.
Said in the past that you are doing for money what email did for communication.
Moving the whole revolution forward. There's trillions of dollars parked around the world. XRP.
Is there a possibility that Ripple could take over Swift one day?
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of 24 Hour Script. Let's get right into today's video. I had a pleasure in putting today's video, and I just sat down to record it. And folks, this is going to be absolutely music to your ears. Okay, multi-year contracts that have been on hold, which we're going to get into by Ashish Birla. But first, the market is dumping. This is amazing. This is absolutely amazing just to see all the weak hands just get shaken out of this market. Like I said, if it was easy, everybody would be involved and everybody would benefit off the wealth in crypto. But it's not. You need a mindset that is gifted to you by God. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another video. Dilip, it's a wrap. All 15 use case pilots completed on schedule July 31st. Congratulations to all industry teams that pulled together to make this a real Australian CBDC pilot happen. Look out for the finding report next month. This is going to be absolutely crazy. We're going to connect a lot of dots here. Dilip, if you guys don't know, worked at Ripple for 5 years and 6 months. And I'm going to play a video by him to really set the tone of today's video.
No, so as I said, the X-current product, the way it's implemented today, uses fiat currencies. So the convergence that we see coming in the next phase is for banks to have an option to say, do I want to use XRP? So instead of the German bank holding Turkish lira, they could say, Akbank, are you able to accept XRP and give me Turkish lira? Here's 100 lira worth of XRP. Here's 1 million lira worth of XRP. And instantly that can be settled without having to hold balances. So that's the holy grail. That's the ultimate end goal that we're aiming for. But if you don't have connectivity, you can't even start. So first you get the banks connected. They do what they're doing today better. They like it. They build new services on it. Then they go, I want to do this in 100 countries, but I can't hold currencies in 100 countries. Well, guess what? You got XRP. So it's a phase strategy, but that's the way, banking works.
I can't hold currencies in 100 countries. Well, guess what, folks? You got XRP. And he is an advisor at Flash FX. And if you guys recall, Ripple is working with Flash FX, okay? During Ripple's third annual Swell conference in 2019, Ripple announced that Flash FX was among the first adopters of its ODL solution. And listen to what the CEO said of XRP. It's not a scam. It solves a real world problem. It solves a real use case, a use case that I've been believing in for a long time. And here's a tweet from Flash FX Twitter. They quoted someone when they were asked, are you guys still using ODL? And they said, yes, we are, and working on new corridors. Just want to show you guys it is still intact. And he's a part of the CBDC research in Australia. And if we get into this research paper published by Reserve Bank of Australia, and this is where Dilip is right here, the Future of Finance, DFCRC. Take a listen to some of the stuff that they said here. Pilot use cases may be implemented on traditional technology platforms or public or private distributed ledger technology platforms, as may best suit the use case and provider preferences. And under CBDC capabilities, take a listen. They said atomic settlements of transactions involving tokenized assets, escrow transactions, 24/7 operations, obviously, but it gets even better. This publication of this year in March, they said As previously announced, the Reserve Bank is collaborating with the Digital Finance Cooperative Research Center on a research project to explore potential use cases and economic benefits of a central bank digital currency in Australia. And take a look at the use case descriptions. Offline payments, Ripple XRP, tokenized FX settlements, corporate bond settlements. And if you guys remember what Brad Garlinghouse said,
you mentioned there are other potential applications of Ripple's technology beyond cross-border payments. What are some of those applications and use cases that you're exploring?
I'm not going to give away everything that we're working on, but the way I think about this is that any transaction that has a middleman, any transaction that requires someone to kind of commute the trust between the transaction, with security settlement, insurance settlements,
CBDC custodial models, live stock auctions, tokenized bills. The amount of change that's coming into the financial infrastructure right now, and Ripple is going to have such a major role in this, it is absolutely jaw-dropping. And Dilip Rayo is also at Woomera Labs. Okay, I may have butchered that, but keep in mind, he is the founder of this. And this is an article back from 2015, what Chris Larson said. More recently, he founded Woomera Labs, a business development firm that matches innovative startups with large companies. So this is a prime example of ex-Ripple executives going on to really, really big roles in Flash FX and a program director of CBDC research in Australia because they have the experience. And just the way you guys heard Dilip Rayo speak in that video about XRP, that man knows this infrastructure inside out, as he was the global head of infrastructure innovation at Ripple for 2 years. It gets even better. Let's talk about connectivity, folks. Connectivity is what he's talking about. This is from the World Economic Forum document that we went over yesterday, but there's other parts which we didn't go over. It's a big 41-pager. Listen to this. 2 components are instrumental in ensuring the extraordinary degree of interconnectivity and the lasting success of the internet. Packet switching and common meshing standards they're referring to. Like the internet, how connectivity is very, very important.
But if you don't have connectivity, you can't even start.
Today, a fragmentation of the payment landscape into CBDCs, stablecoins, and private crypto assets is already observed. Interoperability via token switching and common messaging standards defined in the value protocol could ensure money neutrality and prevent further drifting into a world of walled gardens. Walled gardens, I remember this. I remember David Schwartz saying about walled gardens back in 2018. If banks respond by building walled gardens, we'll position XRP to bridge across those walled gardens. If they want one big walled garden to take over, they'll have to be as open as we are, which they won't be, folks. And under connectivity, they go on to say CBDC systems should be designed with secure connection, which requires defining compatible network protocols, secure communication channels, and reliable data exchange mechanism. This is setting up XRP to be one of the most powerful digital assets on this planet. And there's a reason why the price is where it's at today. There's a reason why it's taken forever, because this is going to last for decades to come, folks. Decades to come. If you guys think 12 years is early, it is not early at all. You got to understand this is a brand new infrastructure that's going to outlive us, outlive our children, and most likely outlive our grandchildren. This kind of innovation is not going to happen again for a very, very long time. The infrastructure is changing. The banking system is changing. CV19, that was the biggest con thing the world could have done. Everything was pre-planned. They did that when everybody was locked in. Can you imagine the amount of tests that they were doing in terms of checking the air quality because half the cars aren't driving around? There is just so much stuff. And now the multi-year contracts. Ashish Birla tweeted this back in 2021. I want to bring this to your attention because it's very important because there's a lot more out there. In 2019, we signed a multi-year deal with MGI, still fully in place. They've temporarily suspended using ODL for obvious reasons, regulatory uncertainty at this time. As a public company headquartered in the US, they have to be on the conservative side. The CEO said today, we're pausing those activities just more for an abundance of caution than with any other concerns about it. We've had a great relationship with Ripple, and it'll be great to continue partner with them, okay? And folks, there's just a lot of stuff that haven't been announced yet from Ripple, because if they were to announce it, people would go absolutely crazy, okay? With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, let me know what you guys think in the comments down below, but this is absolutely bullish. You can't make this stuff up. This is what I mean by ex-Ripple executives going over to new startups. You know, we have Australia CBDC Research acquiring Dilip Rayo, right? Because they know his resume. They know he's worked at Ripple for almost 6 years. It's a big deal. And we will be back with another video.
We started building RippleNet with the thesis that crypto liquidity would eventually be able to support robust global payments, large payments. RippleNet was designed so that customers seeing the benefits of our fiat-based network could flip the switch to ODL once the market was mature enough. And this is exactly what's happening. Flip the switch.
I think what we're building has, it's solving a real problem. And I think all of the tokens, my advice to anybody would be, understand the utility. If there's real utility and there's real value being delivered to a real customer, there will be value in the token.